Neon Demon stars Elle Fanning, Jena Malone, Abby Lee, Bella Heathcote, Keanu Reeves, and is written and directed by Nicolas Refn, one of my favorite working directors right now, one of my favorite directors of all time. He made my favorite, or at least second favorite movie of all time, Drive. Do you see the poster right there? In there? Look at Ryan's face. And also, it's kind of hidden, but Only God Forgives is hidden right. Can you see it? There it is. Yeah, I also love that movie. Very strange, very weird, but I love it. I also think Bronson is fantastic, and I haven't seen any of his Pusher movies, but Valhalla Rising, I did not like it at all. I thought it was a horrible, long, slow, boring, just being dragged through the murkiness of dullness until I damn near fell asleep. And I feel like that one and Only God Forgives are good to bring up when talking about this one. There's a little bit, they flow similarly in certain ways, we could say. And this movie tells the story of Elle Fanning's character. She's like a young teenage girl. She moves to LA, and it's kind of that typical type of story, going to the big city to try and make your dreams come true. She wants to be a model, and she's very good looking. She's rising up the ranks of that, to the dismay and unhappiness of others, and a lot of weird, strange things happen. It goes on a very weird, odd journey, a very artsy type movie. It's Nicolas Refn. And yeah, it's a Nicolas Refn, so it's going to be a very slow-paced, beautiful-looking movie with a Cliff Martinez score, and yeah, that's kind of what it is. A lot of actors just kind of, it plays out unconventional. They're acting a little bit like lifeless, soulless zombies, but they're all models, so it kind of makes sense. And also a little bit fetishistic with its violence and sexuality, and yeah, that's Nicolas Refn, and I love the damn guy, and I don't love everything. Like I said, Valhalla Rising wasn't the best. Only God Forgives, when I first saw it, I was like, I like it, but just kind of barely, I don't know. And then I watched it a couple more times. I'm like, okay, now I get it. I love it. I really fell in love with it on multiple viewings. And this one's similar. First time I watched it, flat out disliked it. Was not a fan. And my brother still hates it, but I watched it a second time. I watched with him and we were both just like, the hell was that? Come on. But I watched it a second time and it clicked a little bit more. I knew what to expect. I knew what was happening. Just was able to appreciate it more a second time. It's not a very complex story, but it's the way it's presented, the way he tells the story, because it's very simple, this story. She's going to rise through the ranks, and then because of that, other people aren't going to be happy, and a few weird things happen. But it's a very straightforward story for the first half, and second half becomes almost a sci-fi horror movie type thing. But it's just about his presentation, how he films it, how he tells the story that makes it different. Like, yeah, it's very slow. Even, it's his longest movie at 2 hours, I believe. His movies are usually 90 minutes, which I think is better for him. He should get in and out a lot quicker. But yeah, slow paced, and yeah, it's modeling, so everyone's a little bit like a zombie. It has a specific type of acting he goes for, but I like it, and goddamn, his direction is great. I love his choice of camera angles, his camera movement. He does great in that way, and I think a lot of people could do a movie like this, the same sort of execution, but it'd be more pretentious. The way he does it, it just works. He does very good with it, and I appreciate what he was going for as a director, because the certain themes and weirdness in this movie, the whole theme of beauty being more important than anything else, and it's not about what's deep down inside, it's about what's on the surface. So for a movie to almost kind of replicate that, it's not about how intricate the story is. It's super simple and whatever. The story is almost a weaker point of the movie, but it's about what's on the outside, the beauty of the movie, the direction, the camera work, the cinematography. That is the big standout. This movie looks beautiful. The cinematographer knocks it out of the park. She just crushed it, and much like The Sandlot, just busted the guts out of the ball while she knocked it out of the park. It looks fantastic. It's so dreamlike at the beginning and then nightmarish in the second half, but the beautiful use of colors like neon colors and blue and reds. It's a very, like the halfway point in the movie, it's very integral. This light showdown of blue becoming red and all this and that, all the neon colors. It looks beautiful. It's gorgeous to look at. And that scene specifically, not only is it beautiful, but that's kind of a big point in the movie. The end of the first hour, beginning of the second, it's a big change in the story and where things are going to go. And it's just a big metaphorical symbolism type scene. It's like, does any of this really mean anything? Sort of, but it's, you gotta think about it and it's not all there. The thing with Nicolas Refn is he'll tell a movie and he won't give you everything. Sometimes he'll leave little things dangling or just swipe them. Like in this movie, he swipes a whole thing out of the movie because all the acting, let's talk about real quick. Fantastic. Elle Fanning, brilliant in this, really good. I think she's disserviced a little bit from the writing once the second half starts, but overall she did a very good job. Jena Malone, fantastic. Really brave performance because the shit she's got to do, Oh boy, and she goes for it. So credit where it's due. Bella Heathcote and Abby Lee also fantastic as these vapid models. They're like zombies and lifeless, emotionless in a certain way. They do very good at that. Keanu Reeves, fantastic, a lot of fun, but he's the one I want to talk about where his arc, like his story, his motivations, they hit a tipping point where it's like, what is happening? It's a big scene, a lot of disturbing implications, and then just sucked out of the movie, and we don't know what happens. Was he going for it to be disturbing and horrific where we don't know, truly understand what was happening, and then it's gone, leaving us to interpret in our own mind and freak us out? Because it bugs me. It still bugs me. It is horrifying, and I get it. It is a horror movie, but it just introduced a big plot point to just leave it and never address it again. Not to mention a character arc. Elle Fanning, her character, the way it's written, her character takes a turn in the second half, and it begins basically, it's a slow progression of her character in a way where I see what they're going for, but it feels like at a certain point they just punch that son of a bitch to 200 miles per hour to fly through it. So we didn't get to slowly progress to the important point. It just feels like, alright, here's a symbolic scene that'll mean stuff, and now she's a different character. But both times it is a little jarring where it's like she's one thing, now she's another, and this scene is supposed to make us understand that, and I get it. But it's too fast. It was a slow progression, and then suddenly, wham! Throw that scene in and just forget about it anymore. It's different. You're a different character, and we're moving on. It's a little unsatisfying in that way, but what's not unsatisfying is the ending. When this movie goes bug nuts, sci-fi horror basically, when it goes crazy at the end, it's delightfully twisted and disturbing. Because it's fucked up, and I can see how you'd watch and just totally be disturbed, like this guy's fucked up and fuck this movie. But I love it because he's fetishistic with violence and stuff like that. It's gross, disturbing, nuts. It really is, and it's so delightful because of that. Like, he doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna do it because he wants to, and I really love that end. The whole last 30 minutes or so, magnificent, and it really pulls the rug out from under you and changes everything. The movie's all about beauty and what it takes to get it, what some people do to get it, what others do once they have it, how it can change people and warps you. This whole going to LA to make your dreams and being destroyed by them, this and that, it's got some nice themes. Nicolas Winding Refn goes for a different approach to making movies and telling stories, so yeah, it does lead to certain unsatisfying elements and things that, like, what does that mean? Why is that here? Well, I guess if you really think about it, there's symbolism and what it all means, but at the time of watching it, it might not be so satisfying, but at the end of the day, I still enjoy the movie a lot more than the first time. I can see why someone would think it's slow, pretentious, boring, and just stupid. I get why people would see that, and the first time I watched it, I did kind of think it was that. But on a further, just thinking about it, watching it again, reprocessing everything, seeing what he went for, you know, it worked for me a lot more a second time. I'm not just trying to justify, like, I love Drive, so I want to like this too. I didn't like it the first time, but on the second time, it worked better. I reset my expectations a little bit to see what he was going for, and I appreciate it more and enjoyed it more. I still don't love it. I want to love it. I just don't. But it really works for me now. It's very enjoyable. The music by Cliff Martinez, his weakest of the three collaborations with Nicolas Winding Refn so far. I love the Drive score, and I love Only God Forgives. This one was a lot weaker, but still good. I didn't really care for the main theme, but overall still a good score. And it's a much different perspective and aspect of filmmaking for Nicolas Winding Refn this time around. In the past, it's a lot about, like, Bronson, Drive, Only God Forgives, masculinity, men, being a badass, and stuff like that. In this, he explores femininity, being women, beauty, and I think he does a really good job. I really like it. The movie overall has some weak points. Story, not the best, but when it goes crazy and just Nicolas Winding Refn, when it goes how he wants it to, and really, it's like, here I am, this is me, enjoy it or hate it. Like, when he does that, I really love it. It's a beautiful looking movie, well shot, well acted, but unsatisfying with a character arc. It's almost like Anakin Skywalker level bad, where it's just, you're switched from one thing to another, and this one scene, it was slowly progressing, and then they just rushed it too much, and then certain aspects that come in just to get dropped and not matter. But overall, it's a twisted, delightful journey I had fun with. I really enjoyed the Neon Demon. On the second viewing, it took me two, but I really got into it, and I appreciate it a lot. I'd give the Neon Demon a B. So comment below, tell me your thoughts on the Neon Demon. What'd you think of it? What's your favorite Nicolas Winding Refn movie? My first choice would obviously be Drive, followed closely by Only God Forgives. Tell me yours, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.